We are mere mortals in a speck in the universe. Did we really all just forget that we're just like a dot in the grand scheme of things in the universe, that out of all the billions of stars and galaxies and planets and everything out there that we don't know, that we still have this grand sense of self-importance? It's like we know that we exist through science and whatever, but we're scared of why we exist. There's a lot of people out there who obviously follow organized religions, and this idea of an afterlife maybe, or something beyond just being this little tiny speck on this really what seems like a large planet, a really tiny planet in the grand scheme of the entire universe that we don't even know, tiny percentage of what's really out there, right? But we still have this sense of importance, and this idea of, I want to believe in something beyond this life because we're scared of death, essentially, right? We're scared of this being it. But at the same time, you have folks who are looking for that support, or that notion that this is not just the end of it. I'm just not this tiny dot, right? I have more importance than that. But the same folks who are saying, well, energy isn't real, it's bullshit, or it's satanic in some way. And so it always kind of boggles my mind a little bit, or it's always a kind of ironic thing when we're talking from the standpoint of, we know that we exist in this world, right? And essentially that everything is energy, but at the same time, we don't believe in energy, or we don't believe in opening our viewpoint. So what makes people closed off to thinking of things in a certain way, or a different perception, or opening their eyes to what's really out there beyond just us, right? And this sense of self-importance that is so high, especially right now, where everybody knows. So is it that human beings maybe all of us have this underlying buried fear of death, or that of this being it, of there not being existence beyond this? And maybe if we follow a religion, or we walk on a spiritual path in our lives, it's giving us that hope that this isn't it. So what if we knew that this was it, that we were just a tiny blip in the grand scheme of things? Would that shift our sense of self-importance to a certain degree? Would it shift anything? Or would we still be kind of where we are, right? So we have the ego that's always trying to separate us from everything. So I think that's what really brings us farther away from us thinking about this stuff. Ignorance is bliss, right? So if we don't think about why we exist, or we don't even bother with it, even though I think it's a pretty, I love talking to people. There's nothing I would love to do more than just like sit and have a drink and talk about the universe and where we came from and the meaning of life and what's beyond, and just shooting out different concepts. And other people would be like, that's way over my head, Jen. Their eyes are going to gloss over. They're going to be like, no, I don't want to talk about that. It's either bullshit, you're talking satanic kind of cult language here. This is really esoteric, really terrible things to speak about, right? Especially if I follow a certain religion. You can't talk about energy medicine, or you can't talk about, I was talking to a patient the other day who has a coworker who, and I've heard this before, that I'm an acupuncturist for one. She was talking about her coworker won't get acupuncture because she doesn't like the roots of it and stuff, and she feels it's satanic and all that kind of thing. And I just had to kind of laugh, because it's dealing with your own body's energy. Like, we are energy. So no matter what the roots, right? Whether it was used for driving out spiritual entities or demons, whatever. The point is that it can help you recalibrate your body, right? Because it's just working with your own system. It's not putting anything in you. It's not that kind of thing. So I thought that was kind of funny. But this is what I'm talking about here. We know that we exist, yet we are ignorant about it at the same time. We don't want to open our eyes. it's more safe, it's safer to live in a little bubble of comfort than it is to think outside of the level of comfort. Okay? And again, I'm going to bring in religion into this because, especially organized religion, it's like, if I have this bubble and this is what I believe, then I can go about my life and not worry about anything, not worry that I'm not going to exist. So it's this fear of death, essentially, this fear of not existing. And I think this is part of just the ego mind being involved, saying, well, I need to be important. I need to prove myself. So for a lot of people in life, they find value or meaning in life either through maybe a spiritual path, finding a sense of purpose in their lives, okay? Having something that, the more connected you are to yourself, the more personal proof it is for you that there is more beyond this life. And I believe that we are just a microcosm of the universe. So we're not just like dust. We're not just, we are essentially, from a biological standpoint, we have, components that make up our physical body, but I believe, energy lives on, right? So we have this form, this physical form, but, when we die, the physical body dies. Where we go from there, I don't know. We could all be wrong with everything. But I think the more connected you are to yourself in your lifetime, the less maybe you just blindly follow other people and shoot just from your ego all the time. The more connected you are to yourself and to your source and to your spirit, if you believe in a spirit, the more personal proof it is for you that you are more in this life, okay? You are a microcosm of everything around you. So we're an oddball species, you got to admit, right? And you wonder what makes people care versus not care. Is it just a personal connection that they have to themselves? I think people they lose themselves in the process of this physical life, and then they go about just living in this narrow bubble where they just don't care. It's the same reason why you see people, throw garbage 20, 30 feet from a garbage can, because they don't care. So what makes people not care? And they just say, well, if I'm just like a speck, or I'm just like, this life has no meaning. There's a lot of complexities to it. And, for a lot of people, they want to turn their cheek, even though they know that we're on this crazy spinning planet. And I always want people, what makes people not want to question that? And I think it is a fear, some sort, or they just don't care. It's like ignorance in some way. How can you not be impressed that you're on this spinning planet in this crazy galaxy of, I don't know, that's just me. Let me know your thoughts, what you think about it. But I just think it's crazy that we don't think about this stuff more, right? Sure, it's cool, outer space, we want to explore other planets and things like that, and it costs money. But for a lot of us, we just live in our own world of self-importance. And, to us, the most important thing in life isn't knowing why we're here. It's to prove ourselves over other people in some capacity, to prove that we are important to other people, even though we're all connected to some degree, right? We're all in the same boat, but I think we have blinders on to some degree. And it's just something to think about, and something I always question is we know this stuff, yet we don't want to admit it in a way, or we're denying it, or we're burying it, or we're not talking about it. Because we don't know much about it. So we're just well, I'm just going to live my life, because we have to live our life. We have to exist to some capacity here. And just, deny, poo-poo ideas that maybe open up to other possibilities in life, or poo-poo ideas about, say, energy medicine, right? Or there being anything to it, right? So it's just funny to me. So anyway, I don't know what the point of this is, just to kind of talk about it, just because I like talking about it. So let me know your thoughts. Shoot some ideas or your thoughts on this kind of stuff. If you kind of observe this around you, where there's like this denial, it's like everybody knows, but at the same time doesn't want to know, or just denial of like existence in a sort of way. And it's just like, I think it stems from kind of like a cumulative buried fear or something that nobody wants to talk about it. I don't know, or just like push things away that you know aren't in our realm of possibility. So anyway, appreciate you watching. Hit that like button, subscribe. I try to put new videos out every single week for you guys, and I do appreciate you supporting this channel. And until next time, have a great day. Peace.